Okay, we're back making another quick video. A couple of things. We did get the transistors in for the control board, and we've got the control board up and running again. And I think what took it out is our form of power. I think it shorted out what we use to generate the power of the piston. I think it shorted out, and it took out some components on our board. But I do have it set back up. Now, this is a pulse board, and it's designed to deliver pulses to whatever form of power you want to use to run the piston, or the ram, or whatever you want to call it. And the reason I'm trying to get away from air is that I want to be able to control a jeweler's graver. And to do that, I need to slow it down. The high-speed air gravers, I'm told, will work. I want control over that engraver, and I want to know how much pressure is going into the head of that engraver before I force a prong over to the top of a stone or do a bright cut around the stone. But I also would like to be able to use it to do engraving. So I think another chapter in the course of these air gravers and pulse gravers and whatever you want to call them, electric gravers, is putting one of these together and getting it to work all the way through, which I haven't been able to do. I can't even get an air graver to work 100%. But this one here is threaded, and this will go into the handle of your engraver. And then there's a shaft here that has a spring here, and this spring is pulled back, and then it snaps, and it delivers the power of the stroke, or the stroke of the piston to the graver in relation to the graver. So since, like I said, we got the power back up, and I still have the other sources of power to deliver to the engraver. I'm waiting for those to come in, and it's about a 6-week wait. So this time I ordered 3 or 4 different styles of solenoids. So hopefully between all of these concentric motors and all of this, I'll get this thing so it actually works. So to give you an idea why a pulse works so much better than a air graver is, I'm going to hook this up for you. Now you hear it hitting. So now we're running at roughly 0.8 volts at 20.22 amps, and we're pulsating at about 3 seconds. And if you understood the hit on that piston, boom, 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 that's control. And you can speed it up. Now if you want to get into graver mode, now you're working at a graver mode. And I can increase the hit of that or the stroke of the engraver by the amount of amperage I'm giving this. Okay, now we can slow it back down. Back down to about, well, we're at 14.14 amps. And we're down at 2.8 volts. So notice that the engraver, or the impact, has slowed down. And that's what we're trying to work with. Now that's about right for pinging a top of a prong on a stone that you're setting. You could do pave with that. You can do, I think we can do a number of things that with both engraving and with stone setting or jewelry work using a graver. So we're a long ways from getting this completely set up, and so I can screw this all back together and get it to work. I'm waiting on some parts that I fried. Wasn't using my head when I had the amperage going. So anyway, this is just a short video to prove that I got it back together again and we got things working again. And by the way, this one will also have memory, so you can actually set this and set the, oh, don't short out again. Voltage is stored now, so now I can come back to any individual setting that I want, simply because I stored the voltage. And I also can, I'm sorry people, I can also store the amperage. So the current's now stored. So now if I wanted those particular two, which is 4.8 volts at 0.14 amps, that's been stored. So all you gotta do is go back to your control board, hit the button, and you're ready. You're set to do whatever type of jewelry or engraving you want to do. It gets more detailed than that, and we're still working on getting everything to work and getting our springs and stuff to work properly. But I am a lot closer than I was, and when the new components come in, we'll get a little further ahead and then we'll get a little more of this show so you can see what's going on. Okay, we're back on target. We've got our power transistors replaced, and the board works and the digital readouts work, so we can control the board again. So what we're going to now, I'm going to explain a couple of things. You know, when you're in the jewelry business and the bead stringing and all of that, and we do teach that, and I've gotten away from it a little bit. One of the big problems that I have is that I get so involved in so many projects all at one time, and I can't seem to focus on just one thing and get it done. And that has delayed the progress of some of the things I've been doing. As you well know, I worked on a air compressor with a push-pull, changing the reed valves in the compressor and doing a push-pull or a pulse air graver. And I changed and started working on a high-speed air graver with just, instead of being a pneumatic. Then I've changed that and went to a centrical type of air graver using power, and I'm still working on all of the above that I'm talking about. Quite a number of times is multifunctional tools such as pliers that can do wire wrapping and winding and have dikes on them, and those are probably good for somebody that's just kind of horsing around with just one area of jewelry and or clock making or something like that. But I love designing tools, and I've been doing tools and designing tools for years and years and years. But I am not a lover of multifunctional tools. However, that being said, this particular unit, when this is all done, will be able to use a motorized flex shaft that's be driven by the power supply, which you can plug your shaft into your control box, and you'll be able to use these same settings. And you can do wax carving with that, and tool carving and things like that. This will also allow you to plug in this probe. Now this is a wax carving tool that heats up, and we'll be using the same machine, so you can plug this in and do your wax carving stuff. This will allow you to do engraving, or use a graver to do engraving with. This will also allow you to do jewelry tool setting, so you can do, jewelry stone setting. So this will have a multifunctional use. And once it's all built into a control box and the buttons are all put together and you can control everything, I think this machine is going to be kind of a wave of the future, and I really have my expectations as to how well it will work. I think it's going to work really well. We are a long ways from finishing things. I keep burning relays and stuff up, and I got to kind of get my mind, so that I don't do that. Anyway, that being said, this tool will be the whole control unit will be able to do a number of good things, and I think whether even though it'll be multifunctionable, it will be separated enough between each tool that you can use it whichever way you want. So there's a lot of thought that has gone on with doing this for the last year or so that we've been doing this. I think if you go back to the first videos, I've been in this almost a year trying to design everything, and hopefully we'll get it to work. So with that, we certainly thank you for watching the videos. I hope you enjoy them as much as I do making them, and hopefully we'll zero into one thing at a time and get things done. So thanks for watching, and folks, have a nice evening.